Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. How are you today? It's wonderful to be here. Um, Today, we are running some different settings on the computer. So, if you happen to notice sound issues or video issues, bear with us. We're trying to debug and find out what's happening. I think many of you are aware that during the service this past weekend, we had a lot of problems with the sound. We're still trying to figure out what happened. We did test everything the day before, it was working, but the day of the service we had some issues. So we're pretty sure it was not the internet or anything in that sense, but we're ruling out problems. So if you notice any issues today, please let us know. Okay, we'll be running this study. It is live, so send in messages if you notice something with the sound. Okay, so let us, in the name of Messiah, which is one with Meishu-sama and Jesus Christ, express our gratitude to God for the opportunity to be part of this study today. Let us remember that it is only with God's permission and with the existence of Kyoshu-sama and Kyoshu-sama's blessing that we are able to hold this study on a weekly basis. If it were not for Kyoshu-sama's messages, there's no way for us to perceive Meishu-sama's will. So let us keep that in mind and with gratitude participate in the study today. All right. I would like to take this moment to express my gratitude to all those who have entered the sponsorship program. As you are all aware, we have a goal of uniting with 75 families this year. Okay. The objective is that 75 families or individuals can join us, and together we can bring this message to more and more people. And when I say join us, it's to join us in the sponsorship program financially, right? Making this commitment to bring this message to as many people as possible. It is only with your sincere efforts and donation that it's possible for us to bring these messages out, right? No matter how great the message is, if we don't bring them out to society, then it's just, a great message. So your sincere efforts, your commitment is of utmost importance to bring this out. So I'd like to express my gratitude to all those who have joined already. I would like to also invite you, if you haven't joined yet, to join. It's completely simple, extremely easy. You can just go on our website. You can visit the link here in the bottom of this video when the loops around. So if you're watching from your computer, if you're watching from TV, you can just scan that barcode and it will bring you to the site. Or you can visit our page at worldchurchofmessiahusa.org. And from there, you go to the sponsorship tab and you should be able to join in from there. For everybody, those who are participating in the sponsorship program, those who haven't signed up yet, share these videos. I can't stress enough how important it is for you to share this content, both from our Facebook and YouTube pages, as well as from our mother church in Japan. We are receiving on a daily basis amazing content, wonderful content. So don't hold that back. Your friends, your family, they're waiting for something to change their lives. And this is it. This is the thing that humanity has been waiting for since forever now. And we're being allowed to participate in this most precious project of God consciously. So share these videos. Click that share button, share with your family, share with your friends, leave a comment. Thank you for those who are already commenting now regarding the audio. So it seems like everything's okay. So without further ado, let us begin our study with the church canon. Oh, by the way, before we begin, just to let you know, the service on Sunday, we re-uploaded the video. Okay, so it is available with a new sound file. So for all those who didn't get to hear properly because the sound got, progressively bad during the service, it has been refreshed, uploaded, re-edited. It's available for everybody online on YouTube. Okay, so just access the link from there and you can watch the service from Sunday. So without further ado, let us begin with the church canon. World Church of Messiah, USA Canon. With great fear of God, we acknowledge that the Lord God is our true Father, the one and only God. We revere Meishu-sama as the model for all humanity and as our own example to follow. Meishu-sama, who was born anew as the true child of God, the Messiah, by receiving the divine will that God accomplished in heaven. We believe that Jesus Christ, who 2,000 years ago embodied the name of Messiah, the name most holy and high, is serving the Lord God in unity with Meishu-sama. And we regard the messages of Kyoshu-sama, who reveals to us the will of Meishu-sama in this material world, as the sole, absolute, and irreplaceable foundation in advancing our mission here on earth. Words of prayer. God, I acknowledge that you are alive. Within me, you are alive. I thank you for nurturing me to be newly born as your child. May this blessing be shared with all. In the name of Messiah, which is one with Meishu-sama, I surrender myself to you. Please use me as you wish. Thank you very much. So, as I mentioned last week, this week we'll be reading the second message that came out to members all around the world from the Holy Seat of Kyoshu, from Kyoshu-sama and Masaaki-sama. And as I mentioned in the service, this past month has been a month of announcements, of many changes, and it's really special, really wonderful. And there's one announcement I'm sure many of you might have heard, and I'd like to share that with you before we read the announcement that came out on October 16th, and it came out on Instagram. And this is a very small part of Masaaki-sama's greeting for the November service that just happened, and it translated this very important announcement, and I'd like to play it for you here today. So it is in the Instagram page. Okay, you can watch it there.
2022年11月1日、教主様の名において、すなわちメイス様の名において、そしてまたイエスの名において、世界メシア教のね、聖地建設、の開始。で、このありようはあると思いますよ、いろいろ。だから聖地建設、メシア教の聖地建設の開始。これを宣言したいと。
So how about that, right? Truly special, right? It's been officially announced, the beginning of the construction of our physical sacred grounds here on this earth, right? As we've been studying, right? What makes the sacred ground sacred, right? And it is only where Meishu-sama is. It is only where Meishu-sama expresses his true will, which is through the Holy Seat of Kyoshu, through Kyoshu-sama, that makes anything sacred. And we are being blessed with the opportunity to participate in the construction of the physical sacred grounds here on this earth. So this is a really exciting time. Like I mentioned in the service, details I don't have, right? I don't have any of the details for this yet, but more than anything, right? I believe it's extremely important for us to receive what will come, right? One thing is we have to put aside our thoughts and ideas of what the sacred grounds should be or how they should be designed or what we would like and not like. Like I mentioned during the service, we are not the architects, right? We are the working the workers, right? Like the worker bees, right? To put that together, um, the design, everything is coming from God through Kyoshu-sama for all of humanity. And, truly this time we are being guided with the true understanding of what the sacred grounds is, how that is, and how our relationship to that and what our relationship to that is, right? What is this expression? So, more than ever, it becomes more and more important for us to be truly connected with Kyoshu-sama, receiving Kyoshu-sama's guidance from the Holy Seat of Kyoshu, and moving forward to participate in this most auspicious project, this most special sacred project. So it's really exciting. It is this video is on Instagram on the World Church of Messiah site. It's in English, it's in Portuguese. Make sure that you watch, you follow, share. It's begun. So it's amazing, right? Because as when Meishu-sama was physically alive, right? Present here. Meishu-sama continues to be alive and physically expressing through Kyoshu-sama. But at that time, the divine plan was constantly evolving, right? Constantly changing. There's always something new. So it's so exciting to be able to feel that rhythm, right? And just when we think, oh, what could be next, right? We have no idea. It seems like there's nothing new that's going to come. Something new comes, right? And that's exciting, right? Because it shows us that God is infinitely evolving and making us grow and, further into his true purpose, his true objective. So that's a truly, truly exciting time. It is a truly exciting time for us to be here on this earth serving in this most sacred church, World Church of Messiah. All right. So with that in mind, I'd like to go on to the second announcement that we received on October 16th of this year from the Holy Seat of Kyoshu. And I'd like to read that with you today. So this was to all members around the world from Yoichi Okada Kyoshu, Masaaki Okada, successor of Kyoshu. Birth of the Messiah service, observing a major world holy day where the glory of the Lord shines, is the title of the announcement. Not long ago, as we announced to all of you in regarding observance of holy days in our church, in the same way we observe significant events like the day that Meishu-sama received the divine revelation of the transition from night to day, and also held the provision ceremony to celebrate the birth of the Messiah on June 15th and the day of Meishu-sama's birth on December 23rd, we will also observe the three major holy days of Christianity, Easter, Pentecost, and Christmas, as holy days of our church. In the same vein, we noted that Meishu-sama's birthday service taking place at the end of this year will be celebrated for the first time in our church history, together with the commemoration of the birth of Jesus Christ, Christmas. In line with this, Meishu-sama's birthday service taking place at the end of the year has been renamed to Service for the Births of Meishu-sama in Jesus Christ. From next year on too, we will essentially carry out the service with that name. This year, in 2022, marks Meishu-sama's 140th birthday anniversary. Being an auspicious year, we would like to celebrate together with members around the world the birth of Meishu-sama in Jesus Christ under the following name: Service for the Births of Meishu-sama in Jesus Christ, special ceremony to celebrate Meishu-sama's 140th birthday anniversary. Just pause for a second. This is truly exciting time, right? For us here in the West, the Western Hemisphere, let's say, right, or the Western part of the world, it's very common for us to have Christmas, and we know Christmas and we celebrate Christmas, many of us, right? But for the first time, right, officially, as part of our church's holy day, we are celebrating Meishu-sama and Jesus Christ's births. Right? That is really an amazing shift and a most wonderful and welcoming change. And for the first time, we are being guided, right, to really receive the true meaning of that and what it means to celebrate both of these most special days on this time of year. So, Kyoshu-sama and Masaaki-sama, in their letter to the members, continue. On June 15th of this year, together with all of you, we were allowed to hold the grand ceremony to celebrate the birth of the Messiah. 68 years after Meishu-sama held the provisional ceremony to celebrate the birth of the Messiah on June 15th, 1954. With Meishu-sama's will in mind, when he said that World Church of Messiah will become extremely close to Christianity, that he wished to save all of humanity and lead it to the right direction, in the right direction, by working in concert with Christians using all his heart and soul, and that in the West there is Christ, in the East there is Messiah. If these two major forces work in concert with each other, one in the East, the other in the West, and if all members of the two powers diligently fight for peace, eternal peace will surely be brought about. We were allowed to pledge to Meishu-sama all together to serve that will with our whole body and soul. There was no greater joy for us than this. This was truly a very special moment, right? It's a very special moment for all humanity, right? And we were able to make this pledge, as Kyoshu-sama shares here, on that day, right? So Kyoshu-sama continues, we are thinking about how the service on June 15th from next year on is to be named. For many years, we designated the service on that day as Paradise on Earth service. However, Meishu-sama himself never once actually used the name Paradise on Earth service. Did you guys know this? I wasn't aware of this until this message from Kyoshu-sama. Again, only stressing how important it is for us to have Kyoshu-sama guiding us, right? Without Kyoshu-sama's guidance, without Kyoshu-sama, it's impossible for us to really know Meishu-sama's true intent and Meishu-sama's true will. And I was really excited to hear about this, right? This revelation to us, so that we can truly seek Meishu-sama's will, right? What Meishu-sama really intended for this service, what Meishu-sama really called this service, is wonderful that we are being guided to reflect on this matter, right? And Kyoshu-sama continues. The last service on June 15th that took place under Meishu-sama's leadership was called the Provisional Ceremony to celebrate the birth of the Messiah. When we think about Paradise on Earth, we know about the calligraphy that Meishu-sama wrote, Paradise on Earth exists in my heart, or Paradise exists at the center of my heart. And in the sacred word, the uniqueness of the salvation of our church, he said, to save people into heaven, you must climb up to heaven first and become its resident. Then you can pull everyone up to heaven and bring them salvation. He also said, it is more than clear that the will of God is to make a copy of heaven as the first step in constructing a paradise on earth. But let me say this, it is not only copies, but each human being also must become a resident of heaven, or rather, the time has come when a human being can become its resident. In other words, Meishu-sama dedicated his energy into constructing the sacred grounds, and his purpose for that, as he said in his sacred word, was to have each and every single human being climb up and return to the heaven existing within each one of them and become a resident of heaven. At the same time, in his final years, Meishu-sama was born anew as the Messiah and showed us the model of a resident of heaven. It is precisely this Meishu-sama who should be called a prototype of a paradise on earth. In 1953, that is, about a year before Meishu-sama was born anew as the Messiah, the construction of the Hakone Shinsenkyo sacred grounds was completed. In regard to it, he said, in this sense, the recent completion of the Shinsenkyo paradise on earth means that at the center of the world, a paradise on earth has finally been born. That is, it is the birth of a paradise on earth, and it is a most auspicious event since the beginning of the world. It will be commemorated as a major world holy day for all eternity. This day, June 15th, will be the future birth of paradise on earth service. The deep significance of the Shinsenkyo paradise on earth, July 8th, 1953. However, Meishu-sama did not stop there. All right, I stopped there, right? For many years, I stopped there and I thought, that's it, right? It's completed. How many of you watching today have had that same kind of thought? It's done, right? But we stopped. And Meishu-sama went further. And Kyoshu-sama is guiding us to be able to realize that and notice that, right? And he continues. In his own sacred word, he said, it is more than clear that the will of God is to make a copy of heaven as the first step in constructing a paradise on earth. But let me say this, it is not only copies, but each human being also must become a resident of heaven. As he said, the construction of copies, what we call the sacred grounds, is only the first step in constructing a paradise on earth. What Meishu-sama was truly aiming for, through and through, was for each and every human being to become a resident of heaven. And how mysterious it is. Just as the sacred word said, Meishu-sama himself left behind the first step of the birth of a copy, the completion of the copy, and went on to the second step. Meishu-sama showed us what it means for a human being, for a human to be born when he himself was born anew as the Messiah, when he was born as a child of God. Meishu-sama showed us how to go from the first step, the sacred grounds is a paradise on earth, to the second step, a human being is a paradise on earth. Just pausing here for a second, right? And I know I've stressed this before. I never put the two and two together, right? The two together. Never could perceive that. Were it not for Kyoshu-sama guiding us constantly, tirelessly, I would have never have noticed that, right? Today, we are aware, right, that the true second step, a paradise on earth, is talking about each one of us, as Masaaki-sama has clarified in his greetings for all of us. But were it not for the holy seat of Kyoshu, how many of us would have ever perceived that? None of us, right? We've spent 70 years thinking that we were following Meishu-sama, ignoring the holy seat of Kyoshu. And today, thanks to the holy seat of Kyoshu, we are aware of how off in a tangent we had gone, right? We had reached a dead end, and now we're being revived, right? Really brought back to see and receive Meishu-sama's true will, right? What Meishu-sama really accomplished with his whole body and soul for each one of us. This in itself is amazing, right? But let's keep reading here what Kyoshu-sama shares even deeper for us, right? The birth of paradise on earth service. What truly is to be born is not a copy, but a human being. Oh, sorry, we have a weather warning here. One more time. The birth of paradise on earth service. What truly is to be born is not a copy, but a human being. In 1954, the year after the copy was born, Meishu-sama himself was born as a prototype of a paradise on earth. One can gather the deep meaning behind why Meishu-sama chose to use the word birth in the name of the aforementioned service. What kind of existence is the human being that is born as a paradise on earth? It is the existence of Messiah, a child of God. That is to say, birth of paradise on earth service can be rephrased as birth of the Messiah service. That is precisely why he changed the service name to Provisional Ceremony to celebrate the birth of the Messiah, which took place on June 15, 1954, after he himself was born anew as the Messiah. Even though Meishu-sama expressed his wish to name the service Birth of Paradise on Earth Service in 1953. Just making a quick pause here. Do you see that Meishu-sama made that change? Right? In 1953, Meishu-sama talks about this date, right? Being a date that all humanity, the entire world, for all eternity will celebrate, right? Birth of Paradise on Earth service, 1953. But in 1954, Meishu-sama moves in one step further, right? And you can see how fast the divine plan evolved in just 1 year. That huge change, and that huge change to bring us its true meaning, right? Awaken us to its true meaning. But none of us perceive that, right? Because we as humans have extremely limited vision, right? We can't even see an inch before our eyes, as Meishu-sama says in his hymns. That's why we are so blessed to have Kyoshu-sama guiding us to be able to perceive these things, right? That normally we're not even able to contemplate about. We can try to, but we never really grasp its true meaning. And Kyoshu-sama continues. Of course, because Meishu-sama said, it is not only copies, but each human being also must become a resident of heaven, it is still not a true celebration if only Meishu-sama was born anew as the Messiah. Isn't this why he used the phrase provisional ceremony? If human beings, in other words, all of humanity, not just himself, can awaken to the truth that humans are to be born anew as a residents of heaven, that is, be born anew as messiahs, the actual grand ceremony to celebrate the birth of the Messiah can take place. With this fervent wish for us, Meishu-sama used the word provisional in provisional ceremony to celebrate the birth of the Messiah. We cannot help but think like this. And this year, we who are allowed to realize this wish of Meishu-sama, even if belated, were permitted to hold the grand ceremony to celebrate the birth of the Messiah on June 15th as the day commemorating a most auspicious event since the beginning of the world. It will be commemorated as a major world holy day for all eternity. Now that our thoughts have gone to this will of Meishu-sama, we believe that for June 15th, it is no longer fitting to hold the service with the name Paradise on Earth service. Instead, as Birth of Paradise on Earth service is a service that commemorates the birth of the Messiah. Birth of the Messiah service is far more fitting. No, Meishu-sama is wishing for it. This we cannot help but feel. Accordingly, from the next year forward, we would like to hold the Paradise on Earth service as the Birth of the Messiah service. The grand ceremony to celebrate the birth of the Messiah was a most auspicious event since the beginning of the world. However, Meishu-sama also says that this day will be commemorated as a major world holy day for all eternity. I want us to just pause for a second here, because I think for all of us who participated or who are here currently, maybe it must be very difficult to grasp, right, what this means. But this day and this service is something that will be commemorated as a major world holy day for all eternity. That's how big the mission of this church is. And that's not saying this to make us feel proud of ourselves, right? And boost our egos, but for us to recognize how special it is to be a part of this, even if just a small part, on this most amazing work that God is fulfilling through each and every single one of us. How special it is for us to be a part of that. In other words, not only this year, but next year, the year after that, 3 years later, 10 years later, 100 years later too, all of us are to celebrate this day with grandeur. June 15th, when the grand ceremony to celebrate the birth of the Messiah was held. In regard to this service next year, as it marks the 1-year anniversary of the grand ceremony to celebrate the birth of the Messiah, we have determined the following name: Birth of the Messiah service, celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the grand ceremony. The year after that, 2024, the Birth of the Messiah service will be one that marks the 70th anniversary since Meishu-sama was born anew as the Messiah. If Meishu-sama was not born anew as the Messiah and did not announce that matter to us, World Church of Messiah would not exist now. Nor would we ever know about needing to work in concert with Christians. We would still be lost and wandering in the dark. We would like to hold the birth of the Messiah service in 2024 with deep gratitude to the one who saved us from that faith. To Meishu-sama, a child of God. We are deeply grateful that we are able to go forward with courage, together with members all around the world, to the very fore, to the very depth of Meishu-sama's will. May all glory be to God. But once again, thank you so much for allowing me to share this moment with you, this most special announcement. And let us keep in mind, as Kyoshu-sama says here, right? We are being permitted, and we should, right, with Kyoshu-sama, go forward with courage to the very fore, to the very depth of Meishu-sama's will. That is the most amazing blessing, right? To be able to receive Meishu-sama's true will at the deepest, furthest part, the most intimate part that God has prepared for each one of us. And we are only able to do that because we have Kyoshu-sama guiding us to do that. Because of Kyoshu-sama's courage, persistence, and tirelessness. So let us also express our gratitude to Kyoshu-sama for leading us in that direction and move forward in this most exciting time of the divine plan. With that son in mind, with that thought, I like to go forward and serve with each and every one of you. May all glory be returned to God. Thank you.